Good afternoon. Welcome to Exam Booty's YouTube platform. I am Suchit Sharma and I welcome to you this SSC CGL English class in English. Students, in our previous class, we have discussed about the silent letters in words. We discussed that and we also discussed why there are silent letters in words. I hope you have understood the concept very clearly, but to recap, I would like to restate what I said in the previous class. There are three things that determines the silent letters in a word. The first thing is to maintain the history, to tell the coming generation why there is a sound and why there is the letter still in the particular word. To maintain the history, to know the generation must know the history behind the words. That's why. And also the origin of a word, from where it originated, whether it has roots from Greek, whether it has roots from Latin or French or Italian or some other languages in the world. So one thing is history, the second thing is origin, and the third thing is relationship with other words. So these are the three important factors that are actually responsible for silent letters in a particular word. Now, students face a lot of problem while they pronounce a certain word because of the silent letters. They do not know which letter is silent and what is going on. So if you just keep observing things very closely, then you will understand there are certain rules about the pronunciation of those words which contain one or more than one letters that are silent. So here, now we concluded that silent letters in a word. So silent letters in a word, why there are silent letters? The first is history. When you go back to the history, you will find that the words in which there are silent letters, they were pronounced earlier, years ago, hundreds of years ago, thousands of years ago. They were actually pronounced, they were not silent, they have sound at that time. But as the time passes by, the letter remains but the sound disappeared. So to know the history of a word, it is required that the letter must keep the place, and because the language tends to be easier with the passes of time. So the easier the language, the better for a student to learn it. So history. And the second thing is origin. To know the origin of a word, that's what etymology tells you about all these things. So origin is also the most important factor. And the third is relationship. But there are certain rules to know how to know that this word contains a silent letter and it should be pronounced in a particular way. So we are going to discuss those rules, and it will be very helpful for you as a beginner and as an advanced learner as well, because I have distributed the words that contain silent letters into two categories. In the first category, you will find some easier words, some very small words in size. You can have the idea very easily. You have seen them somewhere or the other, and most of you, I believe, know the pronunciation, and if not, you were aware of that now in this class. And after that segment, you will find the advanced level words in which there are silent letters. So in the next slide, you will see, this is the slide that will tell you there are so many words in English languages that contains silent letters. So what are the rules? So we are going to discuss the rules. Write down in your copy or take an screenshot at first so that you may have a better idea later on. The first rule suggests that whenever you find K before N, silent before N, always remember that whenever you find K before N, like in knife, K has a place before N. So if K is before N in any word, you should know immediately that K is silent. K is silent. Like there are some other word, knee. In knee, K is before N. Knife, K is before N. No, K-N-O-W. No, K is before N. And knock, K is before N. And there are so many words like knowledge. So many words, knapsack, knack. There are so many words. When you find K before N, you should immediately know that K is silent. You are not going to pronounce it. You should start your pronunciation from N, not from K. This is the first rule to know about the silent letters in a word. So the second rule, if you see W before R, if a word is starting from W and it is followed by R, so if it is before R, then the W will be silent. This is the second rule. W will be silent if a word begins with W and this W comes before R. Like in right, W comes before R in right. So we have to pronounce it like, spell it like there is no W. R-I-T-E, right, and W-R-I-T-E, right as well. Wrong. W-R-O-N-G. Now here too, W comes before R. In wrist, like wristwatch, W comes before R, and wrap, W comes before R. In all these words, W is silent. So how to know that? How can a student can identify that there is a silent letter? So very easy now. There are two rules that now you are aware of. The first rule is that if there is a K before N, then the K is silent. If there are W in any words and it is before R, then the W is silent. So these two rules, keep that in your mind. Now again, whenever you see B after M, whenever you see B after M, like in the word lamb, you see L-A-M-B, lamb. You don't call it, don't spell it, don't pronounce it like lamb. This is not lamb. This is lamb. This is lamb. B is silent. When B just comes after M, M is followed by B. It means in any word, the B is going to be silent. This is the third rule. So this is lamb, not lamb. This is comb, not comb. This is not comb. This is comb. This is not thumb. This is not thumb. This is thumb. That is thumbs up. Thumbs up, not thumb. Thumbs up. B is silent because B just come after M. And there is also a word like climb. This is climb, not climb. And also, you know, there is a word, there are so many words like bomb, B-O-M-B, not bomb. Bomb, not bomb. So whenever B comes just after M, B is silent. This is the third rule. Now, the fourth one. Whenever you find a letter L before KMFD, whenever you find letter L before KMFD, remember that. L before KM and tell me KMFD. That's right, KMFD. 4 letters, KMFD. If you see L before these 4 letters, you should have a clear picture. You should have in the mind the pronunciation of the word in which L is going to be silent. Like talk, like talk. And there is also a word like walk. Don't talk while you walk. Don't talk while you walk. Walk. In walk, L. L is before K. Sorry. In talk, L is before K. In calm, L is before M. In half, L is before F. And in wood, L is before D. So whenever you see L before KMFD, just put in your mind, just keep focusing. KMLD, KMFD, KMFD. When KMFD, when L is just before KMFD, L is going to be silent. Okay? Now the fifth rule. What is the fifth rule? Whenever you find that in a particular word N is just after M, N is just after M. Good afternoon, good afternoon. I just watched the comment. Sometimes I just forgot to watch comment because while teaching, it sometimes makes me forget about things that should be noticed but I forget because I'm so engrossed in teaching while I'm doing the job. So excuse me for that. Good afternoon, very good afternoon to everybody. So we are here on the fifth rule. Whenever you find in a particular word, there in a particular word you see that there is n just after m. There is n just after m. So you should know that this n is going to be silent. N is not going to be spelled out. N is not going to be pronounced. N is silent in all those words when n is just after m. Like in the words autumn. This is autumn, not ottoman. This is autumn. This is column. This is hymn. Is a devotional song. Actually, hymn is a devotional song sung in a church, like in Christmas carol songs. When you celebrate Christmas, you sing song like carol. Carol is also a song sung in church. So this is a devotional song actually. So leave that. Whenever you see n is just after m in any word, you should understand that n is silent in all these words. Okay? Let us come to the next rule. So these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fifth rule. Now sixth rule. GH. This is interesting. GH. This is not all the time. This is usually silent. But you have to know one thing, that GH, whenever GH comes, it should come after a vowel sound. If these pairs, GH, the pair GH, collectively GH comes just after vowel. A, E, I, O, U. If you find GH, the pair, just after any vowel, you should understand that GH is going to be silent. You do not need to take trouble to pronounce them or spell them at all, my dear students. So, GH, like light, L-I-G-H-T. Think that like there is only L-I-T, light. There is no G or H, so there is no sound. L-I-G-H-T, G-H. G-H, this pair is just after I. That's why GH is silent here. In night, in high, in daughter, in high, GH is just after I. In daughter, GH is just after U. All these are vowels. That's why GH is silent in these words. Hope you understand the logic or the rules in all these words. Let us come to the next rule, and that rule is about T. When T is silent, so my dear student, T is silent in some of the word, but there is no direct trick or direct rule or direct any idea that you can judge that this word or in this word the T is silent. You have to keep in your mind, you have to be very focused, you have to keep revising all the time, then you can understand the word in which T is supposed to be silent. Like in listen. In listen. Most of the time when you find T is silent, most of the time, but not in all the cases. Remember that this is not a universal rule that you can apply everywhere. So you have to be focused, you have to be very precise in this case. This is not a universal rule, but you can have a certain parameter that if T just come after, if T, remember that if T comes just after S, in most of the word, not in all the words, not in all the words, in few words, if T comes just after S, that T is going to be most probably silent. Hope you will get the point. Like listen, castle, castle means fault, a small fault. Whistle, fasten. In all these words, T are silent. All the T's are silent. Okay? Santosh. Yeah. Okay, if I am not able to read properly, but I can understand that there is good afternoon, Sarji. Okay, okay, good afternoon to everybody. As I have just read your comments, so this is my humble request. If you can share the link, if you can share the link as fast and at all the platform, all the social platform you are connected with, it will be very, very good for us, the Exam Booty team, the Exam Booty YouTube platform. So just be connected, and let us come to the next rule. That rule is associated with P. So now P, whenever you see that P is preceded by S, or you see there is a P just before S, P just before S, like in psychology, like in Psalm, like in pseudo. In all these words, P is preceded by S. If there is a P before S, you should know that the P is going to be silent. Very easy, very easy. So this is a 6th or 7th rule. The first rule, the second rule, the third rule, the fourth rule, the fifth, the 6th, the 7th, and that one was the 8th rule, of in which the silent letters, how to find them, how to pronounce them, spell them. So 8th rule says that if there is a P just before S, the P is going to be silent. You are not going to spell the sound of P. Like in psychology, like in Psalm, like in pseudo. Psalm means hymn. Hymn and Psalm are synonyms. They both are devotional songs. And pseudo means false. If you want to know the meaning, pseudo means false. Okay. Now the 8th rule. The 8th rule is associated with the sound H. The sound H. Like you have just known, the rule number 7, in which the sound of T becomes silent in some words, but there are no certain exact rules to that you may understand in which cases where you can certainly 100% be sure to identify those words. Similarly, in this case, there are some words in rule number 9, there are some words in which the sound of H is silent. Like in the word honest, hour, honor, air. In all these words, H the sound of H is silent, and it is sometimes difficult, but you can have the idea, and you have to put in your mind that it is not necessarily applicable in all the cases. Like you have seen one pattern in all these words, like there is a vowel, there is a vowel, there is a vowel, there is a vowel just after H. But you cannot reach to any conclusion because in horse there is a vowel just after H, but H is not silent. So you cannot conclude anything from yourself. Otherwise, it will lead to confusion. You will be confused. So don't make any conclusion or make any rule for yourself. Otherwise, your observation will lead you to confusion. Okay? Now, rule number 10. And this rule is connected with C. And this is an easy one. This is an easy one. What is that? Whenever you see C, whenever you see C, just before K, just before K, just before K. If there is a C just before K, the sound of C is going to be silent. Very easy, very easy. You can understand that, like in word black or dark or log. In all these words, the sound of C is silent. In rule number 8, that is related to G, the sound of G, and G, when G comes just after N. When there is a G just before N or N which is just after G, it means when you see G just before N, G just before N, G just before N, like in the word know, G-N-A-W, know. In gnome, G-N-O-M-E, gnome. Like in the word sign, S-I-G-N, sign, G comes just before N. And like in design, G comes just before N. In all these words, G comes right before, just before N. So G is silent. Very easy to understand. And the 12th rule, and this rule is related with U, the sound of U. Whenever you see U, whenever you see U just after G, remember that, just after G, GU, like in guard, GU in guest, GU in guide. Whenever you see U just after G, whenever you see that in any word, in any particular word, remember that the sound of U will be silent. So, my dear student, these are the 12 rules that will be helpful for you to understand most of the basic words in English language where the words have silent letters. These are very easy words that we discussed today. We will discuss some complicated words, some advanced level word in our next class that will happen tomorrow. Till then, goodbye and take care. Thank you. Thank you very much.